right? So I was explaining you that basically what is Selenium, right? And the best question, the best answer would be if you go to the site seleniumhq.org. Go to this website and the first line written out here is Selenium automates browsers. That's it, right? So Selenium is a tool which is helpful in automating your browser-based applications. Okay, and what you can do is you can look at this small presentation out here. Basically, in the beginning when Selenium came up, there were three things in the market. One was Selenium RC, okay, one was IDE, and one was Grid. Okay, IDE as a tool, it's a very simple tool. I think many of you must have also worked on it. Only thing is that it works only on Mozilla and it is a simple record run tool. Okay, now a record run tool, if anybody has ever used any automation tool, record run, it looks very good, but practically it's of no use because many times you have to test dynamic websites and all, then record run never works, right? For example, you have to go to some website and purchase the most cheapest book on that website. Now the most cheapest book will change every day, right? So your record run cannot work on that particular website. If you did not understand this, then don't worry, as we proceed you will understand. Okay, so Selenium RC was another tool which was helpful to execute scripts in Mozilla, IE, Chrome, fine, and it also worked in Safari. It worked on multiple browsers, right? But it required the person to know any of the languages like Java or C# or Ruby, PHP, Python, Perl. So it was available in many languages, and the tester had to know any one of these languages. It was not necessary that if the site you are testing is made in say C#, then you have to use Selenium with C#. No, it's not like that. Okay, you can choose any language out here to test any website made in any language. Only thing is it should be a web-based application. Okay. Now Grid was something which was helpful in running the test cases parallelly. You can, what we do in Grid is that we make a central machine and we connect all the machines to the central machine and we run the test cases all on the machines, right? So this central machine is known as a hub, and all the clients, they run the test cases parallelly. So if you have got 10,000 test cases, you can distribute your test cases among multiple machines and you can execute them quickly, right? This was the scenario was there in the very beginning when Selenium came up in the market, right? It was developed by a company known as ThoughtWorks. Okay, now Google started using Selenium and they observed that fine, RC as a tool, because the main tool to be worked with is RC. Okay, because it supports all the browsers and all, it's very dynamic, fine. Google started using RC and gradually it saw that RC had a lot of defects, right? There were various drawbacks in RC. There used to be, firstly, the first drawback was there used to be a server which you had to start and stop, and that was a very time consuming process. Then sometimes the server never used to start. So it was a real problem to work with RC, fine. And plus programmatically also it never had many features inside it, fine. So these Google guys along with ThoughtWorks and all those people came up and they made the new version, which is right now known as Selenium 2 or Webdriver. Technically, this is known as Selenium 1. RC is known as Selenium 1 and WebDriver is known as Selenium 2. Okay. Again, WebDriver also works on multiple browsers. It works on multiple languages. Same thing is there, but also it has also the capability to test your websites on iPhone and Android-based emulators and phones. Right? It will not test any application in Android or iPhone. It will test the websites in Android or iPhone. Okay, it's a web-based application, right? So rest all things like multiple browsers and multiple languages are supported by WebDriver. Plus, its API is, or it has got more features than RC. I'll talk about the features in some time. I'll be talking about them, right? And IDE, what browsers it will support? Right now it supports Mozilla, IE, Chrome and Safari. Okay, right now it supports Mozilla, IE, Chrome and Safari. Look, if you have to ask me a question, you can move your mouse on the top. You will get a bar. Okay, there will be a participants tab. You can click on that participants tab. You will get list of all the participants including you. You can unmute yourself from the red icon in front of you and you can ask a question. Fine. Or you can move your mouse on the top. There is a chat option. You can go to the chat option and just send us a question. Okay, you can definitely ask a question. Fine. Right now everybody is on mute because I am recording the session so that there is no voice as well, background noise. And you can unmute yourself by going to the participants tab and clicking on unmute button. Fine. Now IDE as a tool, it remains same, only the version has changed, right? And instead of grid, this was basically out here, it was grid 1. Okay, now in the market something known as grid 2 has come up, right? Grid 2 again runs the test cases parallelly. Okay, but grid 2 is supporting WebDriver. Grid 1 is supporting RC, right? Okay. Now this is the this is the composition of a Selenium tool. It's not just one tool. Okay. For example, if you talk about QTP, then it's just IDE. You open QTP and you start coding and all, and you work on it. That's it. But in Selenium, it's not the case. Okay. You have Selenium RC, you have Selenium WebDrivers, you have grid 1, grid 2, IDE, lot of stuff is there. Okay. Question being asked is whether it is possible to convert IDE code into WebDriver. Satish, it is possible, but I never do that because it looks very simple that you record the code in IDE and convert it to the WebDriver. There is a feature in Selenium in which you can record the code on IDE and then convert the code into WebDriver or RC and execute it on multiple browsers, right? We will look at that feature as we proceed, right? But it's not a good thing to do because these days all the websites are dynamic websites. Okay, on the dynamic websites, right, it's not feasible to actually record run. I just gave you an example. So for example, you have to go to a website that is suppose a ticket booking website, and you need to book tickets from one destination, one source to another destination, right? Flight tickets, for example, right? If you go there today, the flight the most cheapest flight would be for say rupees 100, right? And suppose if you go there after 10 days, the cost might vary, or the flight might vary, the flight might change. So you cannot record the script today and run the same script after 10 days because the flights may change, right? So That's why we do not support record run, or we do not these days. Record run is not at all encouraged. Fine. So don't convert your scripts from IDE to, just write directly the scripts and ask your Webdriver. Okay, right. Now this was a brief overview about how the Selenium tool works, what is Selenium, right? So the first thing which we need to do is that we need to learn Java language, okay, and then only we can move forward and work with Selenium. The question arises is, to which extent do I need to learn Java language? Well, you need to have a good knowledge of Java. I know asking testers to learn Java is not a very good idea, or it's not fair, fine, but you cannot also work without learning Java on Selenium. It's an open source tool, everybody is going for it in the market is increasing, the jobs are increasing, fine. So if you have to grow in your career, you have to learn that technical language like Java. In QTP also, right? You have to learn VB scripting, descriptive programming and all. So like if you have to really work on advanced things, and if you really have to work at industry levels, then you really have to learn programming language, even if you are in testing. Fine. So we'll start with Java language, and the first thing is that you need to download and install Java, which I think all of you have done. Fine. The second thing is that you need to go here and go to Google and just type download Eclipse. Fine. You go to Eclipse downloads over here, specifically to this one, Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers. Go here and download the Indigo package. Fine. Download the Indigo package. Don't download the Juno, download Indigo package. And Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers. Fine. Go here and you can choose 34-bit, 64-bit, which operating system you have. Depending on the operating system, you can download this. Okay. Once you have downloaded Eclipse, fine, it will be there on your system. For example, in my system, it is out here. You have to, it will come as a zip file, right? You have to extract the zip file. After extracting the zip file, you will get a folder like this. Okay, you open the folder and you will have eclipse.exe inside it. When you run this exe, Eclipse will start. But make sure Java is installed on your system. If you are running this without installing Java, then everything will go for a toss. Firstly. Secondly, if you have a 64-bit machine, then make sure JDK is also installed. Just go to google.com, and in case you have a 64-bit machine, download JDK from this link. From this link, you need to download JDK. Okay, so if you're having a 64-bit machine, make sure that you download JDK as well. Hold on, guys. Some of you might be waiting for me on Skype as well. I did not log in into my Skype, unfortunately. Hold on. All right. JDK is Java Development Kit. Okay, and you just download it and install it, right? And then after that, Eclipse will start working. You just have to double click on this exe file, right? This will be there, okay, and you just have to like this is known as the workspace path. Okay, the path where all your code will be lying, that is your workspace path. and you have to, okay, question being asked is if I have a 32-bit, not really. If you have a 32-bit machine, just install normal Java, okay, JRE, everything will do. But if you have a 64-bit machine, right, you really don't need to actually, sorry, you need to install JDK in that machine. Okay, so now once you launch Eclipse, you will get a window like this. This is known as the workspace launcher. Out here you will have some path. This path represents the code, the place where you will be storing all your Java projects and code and all while working with Java language, right? So I'll make a new project over here called as November weekday. In your batch, whatever code I store, I'll be storing under this path. This is known as workspace launcher. So when you click on OK, in some time Eclipse will launch. Just hold on. Just hold on. Eclipse is launching. It takes some time. It will take some time to load Eclipse. Hold on, it is starting. Right. Okay, this is the welcome screen. Okay, and you can close the screen from here, right? And you'll get a window like this. Many of you must have worked on Eclipse. Many of you must be knowing what I'm teaching right now. Okay, but I'm teaching you in steps. I'm not directly jumping over to Webdriver or something. By tomorrow, I'll be starting with the advanced concepts and also. Let's start with the basics and then move over to more complex things, right? So this is the central portion where you'll do the coding. On the left side, this is the package explorer. Okay, out here you'll keep all the projects, and in the bottom you will see the results. Okay, now what you need to do is that the first thing is that in Eclipse, to work with Java, you need to first create a new Java project. Okay, so you need to go to the file menu, file, new, project. Okay, you can go to project and you can expand Java over here and select Java project. Okay. Click on next. Give your project a name. For example, I'll give the name as day 1. Right? This is the first day of training. I'm creating a project called day 1. Next. Hold on. And finish. Right? Click on yes and this thing will open up. Right? On the left side, if you observe carefully, a project called day 1 is created. If you expand that project, you will see two things: source and JID system library. This is the source folder in which you will keep all the code and all everything. Okay, if you right click on the project, you will get a lot of options, and one of the options is properties in the end. We will be using a lot. We will be using this option a lot while working with Selenium as well as Java, right? So these are the project properties. The resource tells you the path on your hard disk where the project is lying. This is under the workspace November weekend day 1, weekday day 1. So if you copy this path and physically go to that particular location, this is day 1 project. Under that there is a source folder. Okay, this source folder will contain all the Java files which we make. There are other files and folders as well. We'll talk about that in some time. This .project file represents that this is an Eclipse project. Don't delete that. Delete this file, otherwise this project will not open in Eclipse. Right? Now, you need to sorry, you need to make your first Java file out here. So for doing that, you right click on the source folder, go to new and select class, right? And you just give the class anything. I'll write over here sample underscore Java and click on this checkbox public static void main, click on that and finish. So you will have a Java file generated under the source folder. This is your first Java file. Hold on, I'll just increase my font size so that it's visible to everybody. Just a minute. Right. Okay. Now out here, these are the comments. You can remove the comments. The first line says that public class sample Java. What is public over here? What is static over here? What is void? So it's not feasible to explain everything in one go, but please be patient. For some time, just accept the things as they are, and as I proceed with the course, as I take able to hear me?
Yes, no, we can hear you, but last 2 minutes is not.
Okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right, that's great. Maybe some network issue, some temporary network issue. Right. Now, what I was telling you that most of the people, when they go about learning Selenium, they do a mistake that they directly jump over to Selenium. They don't brush up their Java skills. They don't learn Java, and this is a big mistake because all the Selenium code will be written in Java in Eclipse. Then there's something known as object-oriented programming. Many of you must have heard this terminology, right? The architecture of Selenium is completely object-oriented. And it should not be that you should be knowing the bookish language of object-oriented programming. No, you should be having a practical knowledge of object-oriented programming to learn Selenium. Many times people complain that Selenium has not got a very good documentation or something, right? Selenium has a good documentation. Only thing is it is very technical in nature. If you go to Google and type download Selenium out here, right? You go to this link, okay, and you will see the page to download Selenium. This is the Java client for Selenium, which we will be downloading later on. But if you look at this link over here, Java.doc link is there. Okay, now just a minute. Okay, fine. All right, Radhika. Okay. Now this Java.doc link, if you click on this link, this will give you the documentation of Selenium as given by the people who make Selenium. But this complete documentation you will not be able to understand until or unless you don't know the object-oriented concepts in Java. So that's what I am doing. Just give me some time, a day or so. Let me go through the object-oriented concepts, come over to this documentation, tell you how they are used, and gradually we will start with Selenium. Okay, don't just directly try to jump over to this tool, otherwise you'll end up losing interest. Okay, now out here, what is public, what is static, what is void, we'll be covering all of this in some time. Fine. Now, this is the main function in which the control comes over for the first time when you run the program. This is just like C language. In C also the control comes over to the main function. I am assuming in this course that you know little bit basics, that is what integer is, what string is, what if statement is, what for loop is, right? I'm just assuming that you know the basics. If you don't know that much, you can go to my site qtpselenium.com and go to Selenium training section. You can just watch the first two videos. They are open to everybody. Okay, the first video and the second video. You'll get a good knowledge on what loops and all are. Fine. Now, in Java, I'll just give you a brief background. You have to declare an integer. You can declare like this: int I equals to 100. Fine. Or a string like string x equals to hello world. If you have to print something, the command is system.out.println. Okay. Shortcut to write this is you type syso, then hit control plus spacebar of your machine, of your keyboard, sorry. Right. So system.out.println will print something. Suppose if I write system.out.println x, so it will print the value of x, and run this, it will simply print hello world in the output. So this is a simple Java program which prints something on the console. Right? Okay. Now similarly, the for loops, if statements and all, everything is there in Java language. But right now what I want to concentrate on is the concept of object-oriented programming. Right. Before I start with that, okay, if you go to the location where the project is lying, fine, in this under the source folder, you will see the Java file is present. Okay, and corresponding to Java file, in the bin folder, there is a file generated. It is a .class file. Its got extension is .class. If you open this, you will not be able to understand what is written inside this file. Okay, it's all jumbled up, right? So, what we do is, why this file is generated? In Java, this is my .java file. When I compile the program, it converts into a class file. Okay, and this class file is machine independent. You can run it on any operating system like Windows or Solaris operating system or Linux, or you can execute it on Unix. Fine. So this class file is platform independent. That's why Java is platform independent, and that's why many people prefer working with Selenium with Java. The thing is, you make the script on your local machine, maybe on Windows, then you can deploy the Selenium code which you have made on a Unix based machine and execute the same code on Unix. It is a platform independent programming language. Okay, so you can make the code on one operating system, run it from other operating system. It becomes very easy to do so. Fine. Now, if you are making a project, suppose if you are making a project, in this project I just made one Java file. What if I end up making 1000 Java files? There are a lot of Java files which I end up making, right? And then each of these Java files will be converted into class files. All the 1000 class files will be present. Okay, so this is the cluster of my .java files. This is the cluster of my .class file, because every Java file will be converted to a class file. But on a large scale, when we have a big project with us, right, you will have number of class files with you. Okay, now if you have to deliver all those class files to the client tells you, fine, give me the project. So you will not give the source code, but you will give the class files to client. Okay, now how do you give the class files? Right, in Java, what we do is that you can say that you can zip the class files and give it to you or something. In Java files, we zip them, but we zip them in a single file which is known as a jar file, and we give to the client. Jar file is nothing but a combination of many class files. You complete a project, you make 100 Java files, convert 100 Java files into class files. You put all the class files together in a file known as jar file and deliver it to the client. Fine. This is what exactly happens when you install Java on your system. In your project, if you look carefully, this is a source folder, and this is something known as Java JRE system library. This is actually Java which is installed on your system. Okay, it is currently associated with the current project. If you expand it, you will see that there are many jar files associated in Java. These jar files, they are downloaded onto your system when you download Java from internet. Okay, they come over to your Java archive. Yes, kind of, yeah. So these jar files will have many inbuilt classes which you can use. For example, if you expand rt.jar, you will see that it's got many class files inside it. These class files are given by people who made Java language. Okay, these classes have got many useful features which can be used to work with Java language. For example, there is an inbuilt class known as date, right? This class can be used to work with current date, or there is an inbuilt class known as time. So this class can be used to work with current time or something. So all these classes are inbuilt. Fine. But these are the classes these are the jar files which are provided by the guys who made Java language. Okay. Now guys who made Selenium, they made their own set of jar files, and they asked us to download those set of jar files from their website. Okay, this is right now we don't have Selenium with us. Okay, Selenium Webdriver, I am talking about Webdriver out here. It is not installed. There is no exe file for Selenium. I have seen many people talking that I am not able to install Selenium. Where do you install